Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm really excited today to talk about how to stop suffering because I know there's a lot of people out in the world that are suffering. Oh my God, I'm affected by people in my life. Oh my God, I'm affected by life experiences, even affected by because it's raining or something, right? So, what this talk today is about is really understanding the cause of suffering and to really understand how we can remove suffering, which is what I call healing. And also, then how can you prevent future suffering? Yeah, would it be valuable to you? So before I start this, and when you're listening to this, you might say to yourself, "What do you really want to learn from this? What suffering are you currently having in your life that you'd like to reduce?" Right? And you might want to take notes as we go through that. But before we actually get into the topic today, what I'd just like to talk a bit about is my journey, because you might be listening to this and saying, "Well, okay, who are you? And what do you know about suffering?" So my name is Paul Staton. I'm called the Healing Wizard, and you'll probably understand why I'm called that as we move through this. But if I look at my journey, when I was a child, I felt like I was born into a Muggles family, a bit like Harry Potter, if you watch the Harry Potter movies, right? Like I was quite magical and I was quite intuitive and I could feel a lot of things. But everyone in my family thought I was weird. I thought, what? So I didn't know how to face that situation. I had a very narcissistic parent who controlled me, and I didn't feel loved or acknowledged for who I was. And I took that personally. I thought, well, there's something wrong with me. Well, how do I fit into this world? And why is everybody not being who they really are? Like when I was a child, I was quite sad and angry and frustrated, and therefore I tried to fit into the world. It didn't work. And even in relationships, tried to sacrifice myself to be loved. That didn't work either. And it's not until um, I had an emergency. I like the word emergency. I like emergency, easy verge, and see, you create an experience to learn from. And that was when one of my friends almost died in a car accident. And when I went to him in hospital, I thought he was going to die. And I almost fainted in the hospital. I think the nurses were more worried about me. And I walked out of the hospital and I sat in the botanical gardens next to the hospital. And I pondered my life and I thought, I'm very sad and I'm very angry and I need to change my life. So I went on a journey to reconnect to myself and find out about myself. So I did a little course on energy and consciousness. And at the time, I was teaching at university and I was quite successful, won a national teaching award and was highly regarded by students. But I wasn't really happy. And I was still suffering from being sad and angry. And when I went on this healing journey after seeing my friend in hospital, I actually really discovered a lot of things about life and about suffering and what really causes illness and about healing. And I'm going to reveal a lot of those things today in the talk. So I won't do that right now. But what that's enabled me to do, this changes, is reduce the suffering in my life dramatically. Like now I've been a professional healer for 30 years. I've helped people heal from over 50 different countries from all sort of ailments. And I've now created a lifestyle, work about 4 to 5 hours a day, about 20 hours a week. And I travel a lot, spend a lot of time with myself and nature and having fun. So my whole life has changed big based on what I'm learning. So what I'm going to share today with you is a lot of things I've learned on my journey and what I've learned a lot from watching my clients and students. I've got an online school now um, where I teach people how to heal themselves, how to master life. And so I train healers as well, like so they can go and help other people. So that's a bit about my journey. So, and I will share a bit more about that as I go through this talk about what I learned and what I discovered, because that's how I really understood suffering. So I'm going to show you slides. So, and you can get a copy of these slides. I'll give you a link to these slides underneath the recording. Okay, so how to stop suffering. Now, there's basically three topics we're going to talk about today. And the first thing is what causes suffering. And when I talk about what causes suffering, there's two main things I'm going to talk about. There's a lot of myths about what causes suffering. Right. So a lot of people think, oh my God, I'm suffering because of other people around me. No, that's not causing you suffering. Oh my God, I'm suffering because what's happening in my life. No, it's not what happens in your life that causes suffering. They're myths, and we're going to explain why they are myths. Because if you believe they're causing your suffering, then you're not going to overcome suffering. So what we're going to then do is reveal the real cause of suffering. And I can tell you most people don't understand this, but this is what I've learned from my healing journey personally, and also helping people from over 50 countries heal themselves from all sort of ailments. So what causes suffering? Then we're going to talk about how to overcome suffering. So if you're presently suffering, and that could be mentally, oh my God, you're feeling anxious or depressed, or it could be you're on an emotional roller coaster, always sad or always angry, or it could be body symptoms, right? You might have a physical ailment like knee problems, or you might be diabetic or whatever it is. So how can you overcome those suffering? And I'm going to let you know that if you understand suffering, you can heal all of those things. Everything is healable. But sometimes some people are not healable. And then we're going to talk about how to prevent suffering in the future, right? And that's changing your perception. And so, yeah, that's going to be valuable if you understand these three things. So let's start off with the first thing about what causes suffering, and we're going to talk about the myths. So this is a myth about suffering, but which I feel most people in the world actually have got this perception, which is an illusion. And the interesting is that illusion has got the word ill in it. Isn't that interesting? So people believe that have bad things happen in my life, and we're going to explain today that there's no such thing as a bad thing in your life. But people believe bad things happen in my life. Oh my God, my dad's passed away. Oh my God, I've lost my job. Right? Oh my God, I can't deal with my controlling mother. Right? So people therefore they get drained because they have this perception something bad happened to their life, which gives them negative thoughts like, oh my God, I can't handle people. Oh my God, I'm not good enough. Oh my God, I don't know if I can handle the future or the change going on in the world right now. And therefore, they get into heavy emotions, which could be, I'm feeling very sad, very angry, very frustrated, very confused, right? And therefore, then that puts people in a low energetic state. It then could cause physical suffering because your body is dependent a lot on your thoughts and emotions. So therefore, a lot of people believe they're suffering, which means that you're not feeling good about yourself or life. That's what I would say is a general perception of suffering, is people believe it's because what's happened in their life. But we're going to explain today this is a myth. Because in a way, this is living life in reverse. I call it living life in reverse. In a way, we're going to show it's the opposite. But if you have this perception of this is what's causing your suffering, that's what happened in your life, you're never going to overcome your suffering because this is an illusion. It's a delusion. And I like this comment from Eckhart Tolle, and Eckhart Tolle is very famous for his book on the power of now. And so he's very much about how to be present. And he says that the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation. It's never about, oh my God, my pet's died. Oh my God, I've lost my job. Or, oh my God, am I happy because I got a narcissistic boss? But it's not the situation, it's your thoughts about it that cause your suffering. So therefore, we're going to talk a lot about where your thoughts come from, because in a way, that's what's really causing your suffering. So therefore, suffering, the real cause of suffering, is not what happens in your life. It's your perception. And your perception comes from being unconscious. And you might say, well, what does unconscious really mean? Well, the way of being unconscious, from my perspective, is you're disconnected from the divine consciousness, the universal awareness. And what does that really mean? Well, to me, it means you've disconnected from the divine consciousness because you're coming from ego consciousness, which is like a false sense of yourself. So what a lot of people do to fit into the world, right, is they develop a false sense of self. In other words, in a sense, it's like a duality. It's like me and the world. Now, we are all the divine. We're not separate. So we know that's an illusion because divine consciousness is saying we are all one. We're part of the divine. But if you try and create a form identity based on what you have, your job, your status, how much money you have, how good looking you are, well, that's all coming from a false sense of self based on form identity. And this is going to cause suffering. So if you believe that your happiness or your sense of self is dependent on your achievements, then let's say something didn't go right for you today based on your perception, well, you're going to feel bad about yourself. But in a way, this is your ego consciousness. So a lot of people, they have an ego to try and fit into the world, which is what I tried to do as a child. Right? I tried, oh my God, how do I fit into the world? And this ego is really dependent on external validation. See, a lot of people are defining the sense of self by other people to be accepted in the world, right? Which is what I tried to do as a child, never worked, right? Oh my God, I've got to be accepted in my family to get my needs met. But I knew that wasn't who I really was, right? It wasn't being my magical self. Because I got told off for being intuitive and saying I thought this was going to happen. I knew it was. But I was told I was crazy. So a lot of people really valuing themselves as their divine consciousness. Well, I call it your soul essence. In a way, your soul essence is the divine working through you. You're part of the divine, your soul essence. But if you define yourself by external validation, in other words, by your physical form and about how you look and about your job and how much money you have and do you have good things around you and about what you achieve, this is all based on the ego to try and feel good about yourself. So the ego tries to protect itself and therefore it might blame other people. Oh my God, my life is unhappy because this person did this to me. But if you really understand the law of attraction, no one does anything to you. You create it. So this is really the source of suffering, is if people are disconnected from the divine and therefore they're living a false sense of self. And we're going to explain today in some charts how this works. And really important to that is really understanding the law of attraction. You're going to talk in a minute. So given what we just talked about, the real cause of suffering, being unconscious, being disconnected from who you really are. Therefore, what you do is to reduce suffering by what we call awakening. So we reduce suffering by becoming aware, by letting go of limiting beliefs, which in a way I call healing, right? All healing is letting go of limiting beliefs. That's the way we reduce suffering. Becoming more conscious is another way. In other words, reconnecting to the divine, reconnecting to who we really are. And I'll give an example. Like I had a lady who had MS, multiple sclerosis. She was on crutches. She was an athlete. Do you reckon, and she was only about 25. Do you reckon that would cause suffering for her? Because she thought, oh my God, her whole life and her dream of being a successful athlete at the Olympics, she felt that was diminished, totally gone. But what I did is to help her understand about what limiting beliefs she was holding on to that caused her to have multiple sclerosis. And that limiting belief was that she lost control of her body. Now, that belief of limiting beliefs quite often come from trauma. And the trauma for this lady who had MS was she gave birth 7 years ago, when she came to meet me. And in that birth process, there was complications, and she actually formed the belief, and she explained the birthing process. She actually said, I felt I lost control of my life, of my body, because of what the doctors were doing. Now, if you've got a belief, I've lost control of my body, your body's going to live it out. Your body does not judge what you choose to experience, right? Now, if you've got a limiting belief, oh my God, I've lost control of my body, your body's going to live it out until you change it. So when I helped this lady changing her limiting belief to lose that she can be in control of her body, connect to her body, to love her body, within 2 days, she was off crutches. She walked, and I'd say literally, she walked into my healing center without crutches. How do you think that changed her life? She was actually now able to be an athlete again, off crutches. So what was really causing her suffering was because she is holding on to these limiting beliefs. When we're connected to the divine, to our soul essence, to the oneness, everything just is, there are no limiting beliefs. Any limiting beliefs you have are going to cause you to suffer, and the limiting beliefs come from trauma that we haven't dealt with. And it could be, I'm not good enough, or I can't express my voice, right? Whatever your limiting beliefs are, right, that's actually going to cause your suffering. So, therefore, to prevent future suffering, therefore, it's about living from the divine perspective, which is really about balance, doing doing with being. Most people are human doings. They're not human beings. What I mean by that, people are doing all the time. Even thinking is doing. Are people always active? How many people are busy in their life? And they say to me, I don't have time to spend time with myself. What? That's just a belief. So that's why I only work 5 hours a day. That's why I don't work in a job controlled by narcissistic people. What I do is I have my own business, my own healing business, with my own online school. And I create enough abundance where I'm only going to work 5 hours a day. The rest of the day, I'm out in the park and riding my scooter and enjoying it myself and being who I am, being my divine, multidimensional being. So this is how we reduce suffering, by awakening, becoming more conscious. And what we're going to do in today's class is give more details of how you can actually do that. So to help explain this in a bit more detail, we're going to look at the law of attraction. And most people don't understand the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is totally consistent with the divine, right? If you're not living by the law of attraction, no, you're not living by the divine. So this is what the law of attraction says. What you think and feel, and we're going to talk in a minute about where your thoughts come from, but your feelings depend on what you think. So what you think and feel determines on what words you say and what actions you take. So if you don't feel good enough, well, you're going to say, oh my God, I'm inadequate. Oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God, I can't go out and create my purpose because I don't know if I can trust myself to be seen, right? And therefore you're going to live in a comfort zone. So what you think and feel, that determines your words and actions, which therefore determines the state of your body. And that therefore determines the energy you put out to the world. And based on the law of attraction, the energy you put out to the world, that determines what you create in your life. That's what's called the law of attraction. If you're in limited energy, holding on to limiting thoughts, you're going to create limited experiences, which probably often labeled as drama. So in a way, this is reverse to what we talked about before. You know, when we say people live in reverse, people think what happens in their life determines their state. It's actually the opposite. The law of attraction says what happens in your life is dependent on your thoughts. So another way of saying this, if you want to change what happens in your life, your experiences, you've got to change what you think and feel. And what we've said, based on what we're saying today, is that's actually about coming from the divine consciousness. If you're coming from ego consciousness, limited form, coming from your ego, looking for external validation, well, that's going to create limited experiences in your life. So based on that, if what happens in your life is dependent on what you think and feel, well, then for the next question is, what determines what you think and feel? In other words, what you focus on. Most people, I read the statistic, most people's thoughts are 80% of what they thought yesterday. People don't change their thoughts. And the definition of insanity, if you don't change what you're thinking and feeling, then you're not going to change your outcomes in your life. So you need to change what you think and feel, but we've got to find out where they come from. So what determines what you think and feel depends on your level of consciousness, how you connect you are to the divine, and how you bring this divine energy into your body. Because to me, we're a soul, right? Energetic soul, non-physical form that actually projects consciousness in the body, and we utilize the body to manifest. So it's about embodying your soul. If you don't embody your soul, embody your part of the divine, then you're going to block the energy flow into your body, and your body actually is going to have symptoms. So in a way, every symptom in your body, every block of energy, is because you're not connected to the divine. So therefore, a lot of healers, what we do as energy healers is we connect to your block in your body and see where you're blocked, like I did with that lady with MS. And I can tell you, right, I've helped people heal from everything based on changing their level of consciousness. So, based on what we're saying, the law of attraction says, how much you embody the divine essence, how much you're being who you really are, coming from oneness, not coming from ego consciousness, right? Not coming from limited thoughts based on past trauma. Well, how much you embody your divine essence depends on your level of consciousness, your perception of reality. That determines what you think and feel, which therefore flows into what you say and what you do determines the state of your body, therefore the energy you put out to your world and what happens in your life. So really what happens in your life is determined by your state of consciousness. This is what the law of attraction is saying. So if you want to change what happens in your life, change how connected you are to the divine. Don't blame other people. Oh my God, I'm unhappy because my dad. I like the word blame, right? Blame is like be lame. You don't move. If you're blaming everybody, you don't understand the law of attraction, right? Because whatever happens in your life is dependent on your level of consciousness. I like the analogy by Stuart Wilde. Stuart Wilde's dead, but I used to like him as a writer. I loved his perception. He said, this analogy of Stuart Wilde is, life is like a movie. Your life, you're the director of your life. What happens in your life is based on your movie script. People that come into your life, the actors in your movie, they are dependent on your script. So don't blame the actors for playing your script. If you want to change your life, change your script, change the movie. A good example of that is I had this client who came to me and she said, Paul, my last 9 boyfriends have all been angry, right? They're actors in her movie. Her script was she hadn't dealt with anger. And when I talked to her with some coaching, discovered that her dad was really angry and she hadn't dealt with that. And if you don't deal with things in life, you keep recreating it until you deal with it. So then when I helped her understand that, all her boyfriends were just actors in her movie, reflecting her script. When I got her to change her script, and by letting go of of the issues she had with dad and anger, her next boyfriend was a really beautiful, chilled guy, and she married him. She actually sent me a wedding invitation, actually. So I think that's a good example. If you want to change what happens in your life, know that you're the director of your life movie, change the script. Don't blame the actors. So when you block your energy, right, by holding on to limiting beliefs, coming from ego consciousness, right, having a limited perception of who you are based on form identity, not connected to all as one. When you block your essence to your body, blocking the divine, you're going to be in low levels of consciousness, limited beliefs. I can't do this. I don't know. I'm not good enough. I can't express my voice. I can't open my heart till I get hurt. Right? All these limited beliefs. These negative thoughts are going to create heavy emotions. Because if you believe you're not good enough, you're going to feel sad and frustrated. It's like I had as a child. I didn't feel good enough. Or there's something wrong with me. Why weren't people loving me? So a lot of these negative thoughts and heavy emotions, they're going to block your body. Because in a way, your body is like a dashboard. It shows you where your level of consciousness is. A bit like a dashboard in a plane. What does a dashboard in a plane show you? Well, if something's gone wrong in the plane, right? Let's say the air pressure is not working properly. Well, there's going to be a red light flashing in, ding, 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 something wrong with the air pressure. Your body is like that. It's a dashboard. Every symptom is like a red light flashing. Oh my God, you've got a sore throat. Oh my God, you're not expressing yourself, right? Oh my God, you got a headache. Well, you're thinking too much. I call this energetic anatomy, understanding the body from an energetic perspective. So if you've got a blocked body, I can tell you it's because you're blocking your essence. That is the cause of every symptom in your body. Now, if you've got a blocked body and you've got negative thoughts and heavy emotions, you're going to put a lot of heavy energy out to the world. And based on the law of attraction, you're going to attract challenging experiences in your life to learn. Which actually is perfect. That's what I was about experience. Because every experience is there to help you learn something. So rather than looking at, oh my God, this is a bad experience, if you look at it, which is going to cause you suffering, if you said it's a bad experience, if you look at it as, oh, I'm okay, maybe I've separated from this relationship because that was the best thing for me and I could learn about myself, reconnect to who I am, and maybe that partner wasn't the right person for me. So if you look at every experience, we're going to tell you how you can do this in a minute. If you look at every challenge experience as a learning experience, there is no such thing as a bad experience. So when you block energy, you're going to create challenging experiences. So another way of looking at that, if you want to remove these challenging experiences, unblock your essence. reconnect to who you are, and we're going to tell you in a minute how you can do that. So therefore, going on from that, to me, healing, I remember I'm a holistic healer, and I love to help people heal themselves. Healing is really learning from the law of attraction, like we just said, and we're going to explain this. So when things happen in my life, rather than, oh my God, it's a bad experience, I go, oh, okay, I'm going to learn a lesson here. And when I learn the lesson, that's going to change my consciousness. It's going to help me awaken to reconnect to the divine because I blocked that, living an ego consciousness. Then you've got to be healthy and happy in a high energetic state. So therefore, as I've said, all life challenges occur to help you become more conscious. Now, if you understand that, oh my God, my house burned down. Oh, cool. That's cool. I've got to learn something here. Then you become more accepting of life experiences rather than resisting them. So a lot of people resist experience. Oh my God, this is a bad experience. Oh my God, this person narcissist, I'm going to totally resist them. Right, I'm going to walk away from them. But then you're going to create another narcissist in your life because you haven't dealt with it. Is all life challenges are there to help you to become more conscious or to learn. We're going to explain you how to do that or ask 3 questions, which I'm going to give you in a minute. And these are the 3 questions. We're going to go explain these in more detail. If you apply these 3 questions, I'm going to put these on one page for you in a minute. And I'm going to give you a download link to this so that you can download it and use it in your life. This is life changing because I love to help people heal themselves. Rather than going to doctors, which I don't go to doctors because they don't really know what's going on, and definitely not taking pills. It's interesting the word ill is in pill. Interesting, right? Apply the 3 questions. Why is this happening in my life? So rather than asking yourself, what's happening? Oh my God, this has happened. No, I don't say what's happened. It's why it's happened is more important. Why it's happening is more important than what happened. Then the next thing is, what do I need to learn? Give the all challenging experiences there to learn. And then what actions do I take to show the world that I understand? So let's look at these 3 questions in more detail. How to learn from life experiences, the 3 life-changing questions. So the first question, why did this happen to me now? Of course, it's relevant now because you've attracted this experience, right? So based on what we've said so far, all negative, and I put that in brackets because it's really a negative experience, but if you believe a negative or a challenging life experiences are a reflection of limiting beliefs that you're holding on to, and what we've said, right? Therefore, to know why this experience happened to me, the question you've got to ask yourself is this. What limiting beliefs do I have that led to this life experience are labeled as undesirable? So, for instance, that lady with MS, her limiting beliefs were, I felt I've lost control of my body. So it's asking you question, what limiting beliefs you're holding on to. So the next question is, what do I need to learn from this experience? Okay, to let go of these limiting beliefs, to change my perception, to re-access to the divine, these are the details. I've created this so-called negative life experience to learn something. So I can let go of the limiting beliefs and hold a higher awareness, to be awakened, to be more conscious. This puts me in a higher vibration and then create higher vibrational outcomes in my life. So the question 2 then, it really is, what do I need to learn to change my perception of this experience? Right, we're going to go through a couple of examples in a minute to help you understand this, right? So the first question, what limiting beliefs, because we know that all challenging experiences of life are caused by limiting beliefs. And then the question is, what do I need to learn? Right? So for that lady with MS, well, obviously what she had to learn was, oh, okay, I've got MS because because I've got beliefs of I've lost control of my body. So what you need to learn is to reconnect her to the divine and know that she can love her body and be in control of her body by bringing through her divine consciousness. I like this picture. The moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite the chemistry of your body. So if you look at a bee as being honey, well, that's really cool, right? If you've got a perception of a bee, oh my God, it might sting me. Oh my God, I've got to be wary of bees, or you're going to suffer. So really, your life experiences are dependent on your perception. This is a big thing we're talking about here, right? It's not the bee that causes suffering, it's your perception of the bee that causes suffering. And even if you get stung by the bee, well, you could say, okay, I need to learn something. Why did I get stung by a bee? Maybe life is stinging you in some way and you need to let go of it. So the third question, once you understand what you need to learn, the next question is, what actions do I need to take now? So once I know what I need to learn, then it is showing that in action. So identifying the steps I need to take, you connect your intuition, not thinking, connect your intuition, what's important to me to do right now, and then specifically what is the first action I need to take. So that with that lady with multiple sclerosis, what action she needed to take once she learned that her multiple sclerosis was created by the limiting belief I've lost control of my body, is to reconnect to her body. So I gave her some exercises to love her body, to really know that she can reconnect to the body, to allow the divine to come through her as a being into her body. And that's why in cup 2 days, she let go of the symptom. See, healing actually doesn't take a long time. People think healing takes a long time. No, quite often for people, what takes a long time is them being prepared to let go, stop resisting life experiences and learn from them, and be open up to what the experiences in life is teaching them. Because that lady with MS, if I told that to most people, they think they wouldn't believe it because it's based on certain perceptions. But I can tell you of hundreds of cases like that with people I've had. So let me give another experience. I had a client, this is when I was working in Peru. She was Indian. Now, she got sold as a sex slave when she was 6 years old. I still remember her looking at me in the eye and going, Paul, am I such a bad person? My mother wants to sell me. Tears running down her eye. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God. So she had a lot of shame. She thought there was something wrong with her. She was very angry towards her mother for selling her. She was very angry to the men that were sexually abused her. And she was totally confused about life. Why did this happen to me? So she had a lot of limiting beliefs that caused suffering. Very sad, very angry, very confused, quite depressed. So if we go look at these 3 life-changing questions, and I can tell you that applying these with her whole life changed in 60 minutes. So the limiting beliefs that she had was, there's something wrong with me. Oh my God, I'm a bad person. Oh my God, I'm disempowered because all these men can sexually abuse me. She had all these limiting beliefs. But then I looked at, okay, what do I need to learn from this experience? And when I do this with a lot of people, it's helping them get out of their ego consciousness. There's something happened to me personally, because people take things personally. If you take things personally, you're going to suffer. You've got to look at this from, why did this happen in my life? And maybe things happened in my life to learn things to be of service. That changes your whole perception when you've got that perspective, which is the divine. We're all part of the divine. But if we take things personally, we tend to have self-pity. I know that because I had a lot of self-pity as a child. My God, why am I brought into a Muggle family? Why do I have a narcissistic parent trying to control me all the time? Oh my God, right? I was blaming the world, right? Because I didn't understand. I had all these limiting beliefs about myself and the world. So when you understand experiences from a divine perspective, it changes your whole perspective. So when I help this lady understand that maybe she'd come to the world to help girls who've been affected by sexual abuse, and especially by pedophilia, which is a big issue in the world right now, right, and has been. Maybe she came to the world to help change that system. And maybe she went through that experience to understand it. And this is true for a lot of healers. I want to train healers. They go through an experience so they can help people. So am I good at helping people being affected by narcissists? Absolutely, because I went through it. I understand it. Can I help a lot of people who've got low confidence and low self-worth? Absolutely, because that's what I had as a child. I've gone through it. I've now helped understand it, and then I can help other people. So rather than now blaming what happened, did as a child, I now look back at that and go, oh my God, that was experience for me to learn things to be of service. Because if I have a child that comes to me who's got a controlling narcissistic parent, I know exactly what the kid is feeling. Like I had this 7-year-old, she had all these allergies, and no nutritionist could work out why she had these allergies, because it wasn't the food the cause. Her allergy was to her mother, because her mother was controlling her, because she was quite a magical kid, right? And her mother was controlling her because her mother didn't want her to access her magic. And when I helped this girl understand and help her mother understand that her mother had this child to access her magic, and when I helped change the relationship to the mum so the mum didn't control the daughter anymore, all her allergies went away in 1 month. All of them, because I found the underlying cause of the suffering. So going back to this lady who got sold as a sex slave, when I helped her understand that you've actually gone through this experience of being sold as a sex slave to help other girls and to help change the system, I'm not kidding, her whole perspective changed. And rather than crying and tears running down her face, she felt inspired. She sat there going, oh my God, Paul, can I help other girls? Absolutely. How are you going to feel if you help change it? Oh my God, that'd be so inspiring and so exciting. Like her whole energy went from, I call it the vitality elevator. She went from sadness and anger and shame to right, oh my God, I'm inspired. Because her perception had changed. So if you stop looking at your experiences from your ego perception, something happened to me or these people did this to me, which is always going to cause suffering. If you change it, oh, maybe I went through this experience to learn things to be of service. It changes your whole perception. And you let go of those limiting beliefs. Oh, I'm not good enough. No, there's nothing wrong with anybody. We have experiences to learn from. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, right? We go through experiences to learn from because we take a divine perspective. Maybe I need to have this experience which challenges me to let go so can I become more conscious. Because we know every challenging experience is caused by holding on to limiting beliefs. And that even could be you have limiting experiences when you're born, or you're choosing to have an experience of being born into with unconscious parents because you're learning things to be of service. It's okay. So with that lady, the lady with who got sold as a sex slave, when she then took actions to reconnect herself, and she actually did a law degree, and she went back to India and helped change the system. Do you reckon her life changed? Absolutely, because she learned from her life experiences. And I can tell you hundreds of cases like that with people I work with. If you can learn how to apply these 3 questions in your life, it's going to be life transformational. So rather than looking at, oh my God, I've had a bad experience, no, how can I learn from this life experience to reduce my suffering? And I'm going to give you a link that you can download these 3 questions and apply in your life. And you'll find that link underneath this video. So that's how you can prevent suffering, by looking at life from a different perspective. Well, how can you reduce suffering? Which is what I call healing. In other words, you've got a current suffering. And I'm going to give you a fast, easy to apply method because I'm into easy and simplicity. I know the world's complex, right? But I'm going to give you an easy to apply method to heal. 4 steps. And this process I do with my clients. I give this for these 4 steps to my healers. I teach them how to use this with other people. And I also do a self-healing course which teaches you how to apply these 4 steps. And I'm going to give you a possibility of that, getting access to that course at underneath this video. Because if you can know how to apply these 4 steps, this is a way that you can reduce your current suffering. And remember, your current suffering could be a mental thing, could be, oh my God, I'm anxious, because you're worried about the future. Or it could be the past, you're worrying about the past. Oh my God, I'm not good enough because what happened in the past, right? Oh my God, I can't correct relationships because all my past relationships haven't worked. So it could be a mental thing or it could be an emotional thing. You're feeling sad, depressed, angry, confused, or it could be a body issue. It doesn't matter. These 4 steps can heal anything. So let's look at cure. What does it mean? The acronym cure. First of all, you connect to the symptom. Like the lady with multiple sclerosis, I've got to connect to the symptom. And most people aren't connected to their body. That's why they've got to create drama in their life. If you really connect to your body and get the messages from your body, you remember your body's like a dashboard. If you get the messages from your body, your symptoms, by connecting to the symptom, not covering them up with an addiction or covering them up with a pill. No, you connect to the symptom. Oh, I've got a sore throat. Oh, hello, throat. You really connect to it, right? And I teach people how to do this. And I train healers how to help people do this, right? So you really connect to the symptom because the answer, your limiting beliefs are in the symptom. Like the lady with MS, we got her to understand what multiple sclerosis meant. And if I'm going to give you a video which explains this process in more detail. But if you want to learn how to apply this, my self-healing course, we'll do it in more detail. And with that, you can get a healing session with me. So what does the U stand for in cure? You understand the symptom. So if you really connect to the symptom, you understand it. You really feel the energy of it. And quite often that means going, my God, when did this first happen in my body? Why have I got this sore throat? And to give an example, I had this lady in a sore throat in a class. So we went through this process in class, right? She had a sore throat, she was coughing. And we've got to really connect to a sore throat, right? To really feel it, visualize it. Then I got her to really, okay, when did that energy first come into your body? And she went back to when she was in the kitchen, 4 years old, trying to sing, because she was singing to her grandmother. And grandmother kept telling her, shut up. Stop singing, I'm making pies. So she actually formed the limiting belief that I can't sing and people don't want to listen to me. That was her limiting belief she formed from that experience. Now, she wants to be a coach. Now, if you believe that you can't share your voice with other people, well, you're going to cause suffering, and that's why she had that symptom. So it's really understanding the symptom, the limiting beliefs you're holding on to, which is blocking the flow of energy into your body. You're blocking the divine. Once you understand the symptom, then it's releasing it, right, by getting into action, like I did with the lady with MS. So with that lady, it's about understanding by letting go of the limiting beliefs. So the lady with the sore throat, okay, well, maybe your grandmother didn't want to listen to you then, but that doesn't mean that other people will listen to you. So you don't need to actually say, everybody doesn't want to listen to me, but there might be times when people are busy, like busy making pies, that they want to focus on that, which is okay. So it's about letting go of those limiting beliefs, reconnecting to the divine, and know that we're all special beings and we've all got things to share with the world. Not taking it personally, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, I can't share my voice. So when you look at it from the divine perspective, then you can release that symptom. Like the MS lady releasing the symptom of the limiting belief of I've lost control of my body. Or the lady who got sold as a sex slave, when she changed her perception, oh my God, I'm a bad person. Oh my God, my mum wants to sell me because I'm not good enough. When she let go of that symptom to understand, oh my God, I went through this experience, to actually understand what it feels like to be a sex slave and how I can help other people change, that totally empowered her. So you really release the symptom by changing your perception. And the E stands for evolve, because once you release the symptom, you become more aware. That's why you call it involved. And then you become more aware, you're holding on to lighter energy, more consciousness of the divine, and you're going to feel energized. So again, I'll show you that. I'll give you a link to that video which explains this process in more detail. But I can tell you this is a process I train my healers with. And I've had people, like I had a builder last year, who done no healing, he's a builder, but this process, and now he can help people go through really deep healings by applying this process with people. So if you're interested in being a healer, I'm also going to give you a link to my online school, which is called Academy for Life Mastery, where I can teach you how to be a healer and how to apply this process. and help people know how to heal themselves. And that course is about 6 months, right? Of how to help if you want to be a healer. And the healing industry is the second fastest growing industry in the world compared to IT. So these are the 4 steps. And I can tell you, I've applied these 4 steps to people who've got cancer, tumors, serious illnesses, negative thoughts, heavy emotions. And I can tell you it can help people heal from everything. But it's all about totally understanding the law of attraction and understanding you need to let go of limiting beliefs to become more aware, which is really what healing is really about. So, just to summarize that, healing is really about learning from the law of attraction. When you learn from life experiences, you let go of limiting beliefs, and therefore you embody more of your soul essence. Because it's really that block of limiting thoughts that blocks the flow of energy in your body. So any symptom is a reflection of limiting beliefs. That's what's really causing your suffering is the limiting belief, which then will cause pain in your body. And the pain in your body is there to say, wake up. You've got a pain because you're disconnected from yourself. You're being a pain to yourself, right? And therefore it's about becoming more aware, to being more connected to the divine. So being in high awareness by letting go of limiting beliefs, being more conscious, your body is in a higher vibration because you've got higher energy thoughts, right? You've got to be more happy, more joyful. You're going to then put out to a higher vibration to the world. Because remember, what you put out to the world determines what you create. And therefore, you create higher energy outcomes in your life. That's applying the law of attraction. And let's show that in a diagram, right? So the law of attraction, when you embody the divine, embodying who you are as a divine being, not just embodying the form identity, right, based on your ego. When you've got a high level of consciousness, you embody your soul essence. Therefore, because you're bringing in the divine, I'm one, I'm part of the world, I'm not just an ego, right? Try to be accepted by other people in the world. So when you fully embody your soul essence, you're going to have positive thoughts, you're going to have light emotions, which therefore is going to give you a high body because your body's really dependent on your thoughts and emotions. Therefore, you've got to put a high energy out to the world. And therefore, when you put a high energy out to the world, you're going to manifest high outcomes, which is your life purpose. Which means you've got to be peaceful with life. You're going to be more healthy and more joyful. So that lady with MS, right? When she understood, oh my God, I can be in control of my body, having that positive thought, and feel happy and joy being connected to my body. And what you put out to the world, it reduced the symptom. You don't need the symptom anymore when you got the message. And therefore she wasn't on crutches. She had high positive thoughts, light emotions, high energy body, and then for her whole life changed. And she was be able to manifest a life as being an athlete and also helping other people who have not really connected their bodies to be really high energy athletes. Because quite often I work with athletes as well, people in high performers, and it's no different, right? Their performance depends on their level of consciousness. If you look at applying this model to that lady who got sold as a sex slave. Now, when I helped her understand that you went through this experience of being sold as a sex slave at 6 years old to help the world, when she understood this, oh my God, she totally understood that, oh my God, I've got to learn from this experience to help other girls. And going to a law degree, which gave her the awareness to help people know how to change the system in India. She had very positive thoughts. She thought, oh my God, I'm inspired. I can help other girls, rather than looking in self-pity. Therefore, she had a high energy body. She was holding on to shame because she actually had a lot of symptoms, which I didn't talk about. She had a lot of body symptoms from shame and guilt and anger, right? She put out a high energy to the world and she manifested her purpose of going and helping girls who've been sold as a sex slave and helping change the system. Therefore, she's a lot for it. She wasn't just a page, she was actually inspired. She was very healthy and very joyful about life. Changed her life totally. Therefore, what you do is you reach the top of the mountain. So if you want to live your life purpose, being on top of the mountain, You've got to be in high level of consciousness. So what we've talked about today is, if you want to be in high consciousness, if you want to be reduce your suffering, you've got to become more aware. That's the key point today. And that means if you've got access to the divine, you've got to live by the divine. So vibrations don't lie. When you operate at a high frequency, because you've got high thoughts, positive emotions, a high energetic body, low energies can't touch you. So your vibration is your protection. Because a lot of people tell me, especially in healing, I've got to put up a white light to protect myself from people. What? How can you connect to clients if you're putting up a barrier? No, I teach people not to have a white barrier, white energy around them. Get into your frequency of who you are, that powerful energy of the divine. Then you're not going to be affected by the world so much. So, because when I got in a high energy and high vibration, and I totally understood all the energy around narcissism, I didn't get affected by narcissists anymore. So the best way not to be affected by people or to not be affected by life is to access the divine consciousness. That's the best way to stop your suffering. So you can feel like this. Be able to dance and have fun with life, being creative, energized, spirited, spontaneous, enthusiastic. Right? Would you like to feel like that? So what we're saying is, to really prevent suffering, you've really got to stay connected to the divine consciousness regularly. Because a lot of people are very busy, like they work very long days, they come home and then do their family and do their duties, and they have no time to themselves. They're not really connected to their divine. All their life depends on is what's happening in the third dimension, right? Their role as a worker, their role as a dad, or their role as a mum. And all those things are important in life, but you've also got to find a way to keep connected to the divine. Because if you're not in divine consciousness, if you're in ego consciousness, your perception of ego, looking after yourself and protecting yourself, you're going to suffer. That's what we've talked about today. So you need to stay in divine consciousness. So let's give you some examples how you can do that, and maybe look like that person there, totally connected to the divine. Let go of conceptual thinking. Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about that, right? Because what a lot of people do is they create this narrative story in their head. Oh, life is like that, or that person is a bad person. Oh my God, the weather's bad today because it's raining. What? Your happiness depends on whether it's raining or not? Oh my God. So you've got to let of conceptual thinking and come from the divine awareness. So I don't do much thinking. I actually just connect to my intuition based on the divine, and it tells me what I need to do. So let go of conceptual thinking, turning over all those thoughts all the time, because most of those thoughts you have, those negative thoughts, come from conditioned patterns from your life. Maybe as a child or something happened to you in the past. Let go of conceptual thinking. And that could be through meditating or going sit in the park. It could be walking or listening to really relaxing music. We have to have a way of letting go of conceptual thinking. You've got to transform identity. So knowing that whatever happens in your life is you're going through something as challenges to help you connect to the divine. So you've got to let go of this idea this is about me and my ego and connect to things from divine consciousness. See, when something happens in my life, which might be a bit challenging, I go, okay, I need to learn something here so I can be of service. So I'm not looking at it just from my form of my ego. Oh my God, something happened to me. This person says something to me. No, I look at it from my divine perspective, which is transforming form identity. You've got to be present in the moment. Another thing Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about, because most people, when they're in their heads thinking, they're not present. They're either holding on to all these limiting beliefs from the past. Oh my God, I can't express my voice because I got told to shut up as a kid, right? Or they're worrying about the future. Oh my God, I'm anxious. Oh my God, how can I handle tomorrow? Oh my God, what's going to happen in the world? Oh my God. So you've got to learn how to be present in the moment, because you can only create from the present moment. Most people aren't present. The thoughts are worrying about the future or holding on to the limiting thoughts from the past. Be present in the moment. That's why I love going to the park, sitting in the park, right? For me, it's riding my scooter along the beach, Have fun. Fun is a very high consciousness. So you got to learn how to connect to the divine consciousness in every moment. So I'm going to give you now a strategy that I use from Eckhart Tolle, based on listening to Eckhart Tolle, what I do to keep connected. Let me show you this, right? Daily exercise to be present. Good idea to do this first thing in the morning. Who knows where you get through your night, through your dreams. Good way to do it at the end of the day before you go to sleep so you can have relaxed sleep. And I suggest you go through this process, right? And I'll give you a link to this page underneath the video. Is breathe consciously. It's a good way to keep yourself present. So if you've got something happening in your life, take some deep breaths. Enjoy the silence of being. Stop doing and just be. So therefore, you're looking at life beyond what is happening. You're connected by breathing and just showing the silence of being. You're connected to your divine, right? Then it's about being aware of sensory awareness, because most people in their thoughts. Whereas what you can do is connect to your senses, and connect to things that are aware around you. You might just connect to your pen, or connect to the table, or connect to the chair you're in. Be aware of things around you to feel the fullness of life. And even have fun, spontaneous movement. Just move your hands around. Just really connect your hands. And how does that feel? You're breaking this program, thoughts that you might be causing you suffering. Connect to your body's energy as an anchor. So rather than being in your head, connect to your body. Be present with body awareness. Okay, what do my hands feel like? What does my heart feel like right now? What do my legs feel like? Because then, in a way, your body awareness can be a gateway to your higher dimensional awareness. So feel love through your heart. Rather than being in your head, be in your heart. Most people are in their heads, they're not connected to their heart. So this is about feeling rather than thinking. Allow yourself to feel. Focus on being a multidimensional being rather than that form identity based on just what's happening in your life. Be your essence. Connect to the divine holistic energy who you are. Accept the present moment with gratitude. I use these three words, all is okay. Because if you say to your body, oh my God, I'm struggling. Oh my God, life is hard today. Oh my God, I haven't got enough time. We're going to suffer because your body's going to go into stress mode. Because I say, if everything happens for a reason, everything is okay. So if I just say to my body, all is okay, my body goes into feeble state. And there might be something happening in my life which I need to learn from, but it's okay because I need to learn, even if I understand it right now. But if I understand, okay, this is a challenging experience, I need to learn something, that's okay. Saying all is okay is having acceptance and having gratitude and not resisting experiences. You're only resisting life experiences if you're coming from your ego. Oh my God, this shouldn't happen to me. No, everything happens in your life is okay because any challenges are there for you to learn. So knowing that you're 0.5, knowing that you're full now, so that you can create from fullness. If you're trying to create from an ego consciousness, oh my God, I need money right now, which might need a limited job, be a slave, right? Whereas if you know you can create from fullness of who you are, then you can actually going to create from a high energy vibration and you're going to be more fulfilled. You're going to create higher outcomes in your life. So anyway, that's an exercise. I suggest to go away and do that. Practice that every day. That's a practical strategy that you can use to be present. Okay, let's close that page. Let's go back to that, right? If you want to feel like this, if you want to be happy and joyful, what we're giving you today is help you understand the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is not what other people or it's not life experiences. It's about your perceptions. It's about your thoughts. And you're suffering because you've got perceptions of this shouldn't happen to me. It's a bad experience, right? Whereas if you look at it from, okay, everything is okay. And if a challenging experience is happening in my life, I need to reconnect to the divine. Because all suffering is caused by being disconnected from the divine, disconnected from who you really are. And I'm telling you this from experience with all my clients. from the last 30 years working with all sort of ailments. So I know this works. So hopefully this has been valuable to you, that you've actually learned some strategies today of how to connect to the divine, how to actually reduce suffering by looking at that cure process, the 4 steps to reduce suffering, knowing how to prevent suffering using those 3 life-changing questions, knowing how to be present in the moment so that you can actually access the divine so that you prevent suffering. It's life-changing. So I'm going to give you links underneath this video of how you can book a healing session with me, which I'm going to give you my free self-healing course, which is worth $500. So therefore, if you can apply that every day, then you have how to heal yourself. You won't need to take unnecessary pills, unnecessary surgery, right? You can know how to heal yourself, which is extremely empowering. I'm going to give you a link to my Facebook group, which you can join. I've got a Facebook group which is called Self-Healing, which I do regular posts there on how to heal yourself. I'm also going to give you a link to my school, which is on my website. My website's called Lighthouse for the Soul, because Lighthouse for the Soul is the name of my business. Because in a way, I am a lighthouse for the soul. What I do is I help people not hit the rocks. Because most people are sort of lost and not where they're going, and eventually hit the rock. Oh my God, I'm off course, right? Because something's happened in my life, or I've got a body symptom. So my business is called Lighthouse for the Soul. On that website, you can access my all my courses online, which is called in my school Academy for Life Mastery. And there's a lot of different courses there to help you know how to heal yourself, heal from your father wound or your mother wound, or heal from overcoming dominating people. And also there's courses there if people want to become a healer, right? So you can access that course as well. So hopefully this has been useful for you. Very joyful. If you want to make any comments, so that's really cool. You can contact me through the contacts underneath this video as well. If you want to send me a link, right? But hopefully, you know, this could be life-changing for you, and best wishes on your journey to know how to reduce your suffering so that you can live a life of joy, happiness, and health. Look forward to talking to you again soon in my next talk. Paul Staton, the Healing Wizard, saying bye for now.